Maja John Madden in my camper van in Veracruz, Mexico. I just did a short about Kundalini energy, and now I'm going to talk as long as my phone will let me talk, because I'm very low on memory, because my phone has got 3,200 videos in it. I'm always running out of memory. But I'm going to tell a little bit of my story anyway about how Kundalini energy came to me. One element is that I did my dissertation research, I'm a PhD clinical psychologist, on relaxation techniques. One of which is the Jacobson progressive relaxation, classic, where you tighten and then relax various muscles. I do that all the time. I do that a lot whenever I get tense. Two is I dance all the time. I've been doing that forever, but right around when the COVID broke out, the grocery store where I used to love working, Earth Fare in Asheville, competition to Whole Foods in that niche. Really wonderful store that was the heart of Asheville, which is a very funky town. Everybody's favorite gathering place. That 59-store chain got shut down by a hedge fund that thought they could sell it for a profit, and when they couldn't, they just shut all the stores down. And even though I had left the store, I wasn't working there anymore, I led the charge to boycott Earth Fare. And when the reporter, we did a little flash mob in one of the stores, a dance flash mob, where we were dancing around the checkouts, 2 days after it happened. And when the reporter asked me, "What do you call your resistance group here?" And I said, "Don't mess with Earth Fare." And she thought that was wild, but she didn't know that people had to talk me down, because my original version was, "Don't fuck with Earth Fare." Don't fuck with Earth Fare. So I was dancing and then I sponsored a benefit. I put together a benefit dance for the workers of Earth Fare who were out of work. And for a month I was putting together playlists for the dance party. And I just was dancing all day long, and I never stopped. So when I left Asheville and went to the mountains, I was just, my body was always moving. People would accuse me of being drunk. In fact, I went back to that same Earth Fare store, which was eventually reopened under somebody else, and it's not the same culture at all. But me and a friend were like dancing through the store, and one of my old cashier buddies came up to me and said, "Frank, the manager, said I can't sell you alcohol." I wasn't going to buy any anyway, because I don't use much. I said, "Why?" And he says, "He's pretty sure you're drunk," which I thought was a great compliment. Great compliment to be so loose and so spontaneous. People assume you're drunk, because average middle-class white people kind of have to get hammered to get spontaneous, because they're so used to putting their game face on and trying to look good. So here's another principle for accessing your Kundalini is let go of what people think of you. Let your behavior come from you. Spontaneous. What is it? Like, I would ask, what's the most natural thing to do? What does my body want to do? What is my self? What do I want to do? Do that. Do that. And it helps that I grew up in Chicago, which is real gritty and working class, and I was real working class. So we don't care. I did not grow up middle class. I did not grow up being trained how to look good for the Joneses. No. Another one that helps Kundalini flow for me is to feel your connection with other people. For some people, Kundalini is a sexual technique, and it's got a sexual component. The way I'm understanding it these days is the Kundalini energy runs right parallel to the life energy, and it can get attached to a sexual object, or you can just keep it loose, just keep it flowing. And if you get close, which is taking a terrible hit from the COVID, but closeness with other people. In Asheville, I was Mr. Hug. I was known for my hugs. People would come through my line at the checkout. When the other lines were empty, I'd have a line in mine, and people would say, "No, I want to stay with John." Yeah, I was wanting to see John. And one of the things they knew was, even if I had several people in the line, if they said, I really need a hug today, I'd run around from behind the cash register and plant one on them. It might only be a minute. My old mentor, Harvey Jackins, used to say, make it 3 minutes. Get past all the anxiety and the self-consciousness and start to the point where you can notice that you're actually being hugged. So, can you get turned on? Yeah, don't judge it. Don't judge it. You don't have to do anything with it. It's great to be turned on. That's one of the principles of tantric yoga, for the man especially, to be aroused, have a hard-on, literally, to be hot for life as much as possible. It moves the energy through your system, gets the energy moving. And I was traveling in a camper van, and I had deep roots in the homeless community. And I would pick up homeless girls, especially if it was a cold night. And my friend, I'll credit Eric Freeman, my friend, he taught me to do that. He was a big hunk of a guy, and women were crazy about him. He'd bring hookers home to our apartment when he was my roommate, not to do anything, just to get them off the street. Yeah, just to get them out of the cold. So I learned to do that. And Sam was my first major one, and she was amazing. She was strung out in coke, but after she dried out, she slept in the back of the van for 3 days. But when she dried out, she was funny, smart, sassy, and sexy. She was 23 and cute. And she would just toy with me. And there was no way I was going to act on it because she was so desperately traumatized. But the sexual energy, she would just play with me, and I'd be hot. I'd have an erection for a half hour. And I knew that I didn't have to do anything with it. It didn't mean anything. It just was energy. Go with it, go with it, go with it. So finally, something snapped and the Kundalini started to move. And my body just moves. Another trick of Kundalini, you may not all want to do this, but the natives know that tobacco is very yang and it can be very grounding. So if you're too much in your head, too dispersed, too airy, if you want ground energy, tobacco. And tobacco, the middle class loves to disapprove of smoking and smokers, and even the U.S. government. But I know that tobacco can help me. So when I'm running out of money, which I do because I travel on a Social Security check, I keep my cigarette butts. And I've got a nice little pipe over here somewhere. Right over here. Here's my nice little pipe. And 2 to 3 drags. And one of my homeless friends taught me that. Rebecca, was amazing. And every homeless person has a story. That's part of what I learned there. Learn their stories. But Rebecca was a really smart, amazing person. And she'd take 2 or 3 drags and throw the cigarette away. She'd say, I got what I needed out of that. So know your dose. It's usually 2 to 3 drags. And I love to stick my thumb in the eye of my very serious Buddhist meditator friends, and I'll say, what the Buddhists get after 30 years of sitting on the cushion, I get from 2 drags of a cigarette. And I do, basically, my thoughts stop. In Appalachia, when I first left Asheville and was out in the mountains, my theory was, well, the tobacco, I guess, anesthetizes my brain so I can't form English words. And that's what happens. The word, I'm a writer. My old girlfriend called me the word god. I'm full of words. Boom. 2 or 3 drags, words go away. I just get quiet, hear the birds, hear the mountain streams. And if you stay with that, once you've opened that thread, if you stay with that, it can last for a half hour. I've had it last for half a day. Yeah. So one of the principles of Kundalini for me is when life coaches you to drop back, to get silent, to be quiet, honor that. So life just said, you ought to shut up now. It's a good time to shut up. You said a wad, that's 10 minutes. Shut up. My inner voice talks to me that way sometimes, and I don't take it personal. It's all very affectionate. So I'm going to do that. Great. Have a good day. Bye.